Welcome to another unboxing. This is a large parcel from Edwin Nagle, my editor and boss at Computers Gazette. I must admit it's a real honour to have been invited to write for the magazine, and it's really cool that we're already marking a year of the new magazine, and this is a parcel catching up on the issues that have been released so far. So we'll start with this part of the package first. We've also got some cool little Computers Gazette stickers in here, which will come in handy. And so we'll open this part first. Love the packaging. So this is my official Computers Gazette t-shirt. Edwin announced he was going to be sending these to us, to all the staff. So you can see great logo on the front. So that's really cool. Glad I got that. We'll put that to one side for now. And this was a catch-up parcel for the last couple of issues. There's been some issues with the overseas postage on Gazette, because obviously it's quite expensive to send magazines overseas, and so that's volume 2, issue 6, 5, 2, 3 and 4. So that's takes us through what's been released so far this year. So we'll just take a quick look through each one. Volume 2, issue 2 from February 2026. Learn basic program before the iPhone. Talk about the Apple Newton, In Memoriam, Stuart Chaffett. Reviews. This month I've got a review of Bubble Bobble Lost Cave and a selection of the games that weren't in my regular Lost and Found column. There's obviously Atari Outpost, FujiNet Report, the Mega 65 Digest with Dan Sanderson, Tandyland, regular program listings and more, so that's cool. We'll just have a quick look, quick flick through. We've got the Amiga at the back. As you can see, another great issue. So the GEOS column there. There we go. There's Bubble Bobble Lost Cave, talking about the original arcade modification. This is a preview of Lemmings Reloaded, coming soon to the C64, the Teensy ROM. Controlling a Radio Shack robot with TI 994A. Interesting article there. Anarchy in the UK, volume 2, issue 3. So have a quick look through the contents again. The microcomputers in the UK, ZX Spectrum clones, Dennis Caswell on creating Impossible Mission, Quadrex 16, In Memoriam for Robert Tinney. And then my regular column is, I don't think I had anything in this issue. Yes, we do. Here we have Lost and Found on page 35. So once again, we'll have a quick flick through. And this piece on Dennis Caswell, Stuff Off Supercharger, Robert Tinney, the illustrator, utility buttons for the Commodore 64 Ultimate, Department cartridge plus free for the VIC-20 there. There's reviews from David Simmons. Here's Lost and Found. That's an interesting one to do. So we got Popeye, Rockball, Stargate, Defender. Talking about Ken Van Mersbergen's games at Roroclan. Getting the C64 Ultimate on the web, listings, Commodore column, GEOS column, dialed back. Regular podcast feature, FujiNet, Mega 65, Tandyland, user group update, always in these. So, volume 2, issue 4, Basic is Not Dead. There's a cool Basic 10-liner competition this year. Some interesting stuff in there. So, Basic is Not Dead, the game in the box art versus reality, Before the Trinity in 1977, honouring Austin Nagle. Yeah, and I've got Jupiter Fracture, making of my regular Lost and Found, so Commodore, Column, Geos, Dialed Back, Podcast, Inside Atari, FujiNet, Mega 65, Tandyland, How to Upgrade the Colour Computer. And saying we are the copyright holder of the Historic Computing Computers Gazette. Sad news about Austin Nagle. Basic is not dead. Talking about basic, compiled basic. Game on itch.io there, the basic 10-liner as I mentioned. Advert for Pro Division. Box art versus reality. Before the Trinity, so the earliest home computers. Commodore 16 got its groove back. And again, we'll flick forward a bit now. There we go. More games from David Sims and the Gazette Wire. Jupiter Fracture, talking about the code, the soundtrack, the details. Jupiter Fracture, Jupiter Lander 2 obviously came out on the Commodore 64 Ultimate. Lost and Found, KV, aka Caveman Capers for the 64. Micro League Baseball Managers Newsletter, and Trap for the Atari Prototype Found. Love that spread of screenshots put together. Commodore Corner, the Geos column, Dialed Back Podcast, FujiNet, Mega 65. On to Volume 2, Issue 5 for May. They predicted this. How our 40-year-old predictions turned out. Review of Quarks on the Commodore machines, Tower and Dragon for the pet, and love that game. It's really good. Had us let us out Commander X16. It was great fun to learn how to emulate the X16 for this. So we're going to have a quick look through. Memory of Hedley Davis, the Amiga engineer. How they predicted games would be. Before the Mansion, talking about Labyrinth and Habitat. Amiga Adventures. Grey, the FPS on the 64, Broken Altars. And Cresta Reborn on the Amiga. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is looking amazing. And we got Hazard Let It Out, good fun. It was originally an NES game converted to the Commander X16. Again, I love how Edwin's laid out these screenshots here, gives you plenty to see. Quarks, we got VIC-20, C64, and PET versions. I personally preferred the VIC-20 version. It works really well. Need expanded memory for that. Kingdom in 8K, Tower and Dragon on the CBM PET. A fantastic role-playing game. Very much like the classics, like your Ultimas and so on. Fairly simple controls, but there's a lot of depth and detail in there. Bomb Race, early version of Bomboozle. Amstrad CPC. New York Warriors found the final version. A new shoot 'em up construction kit game that's been recovered. Commodore Corner. Geos, Dialed Back as ever. And we'll click forward again. Podcasts. Atari. FujiNet. Some interesting stuff being developed for FujiNet right now. Looking forward to the 64 version. Mega 65 corner with Dan. Tandyland news and events and different models. Petsky Life, Going with Life by John Conway, the mathematician. Programmed in Petsky. And always fun to see those type-in listings, part of the heritage. Bill Hurd's Masterpiece, Volume 2, Issue 6, looking back at the Commodore 128 at 40 years. Amazing. I think it's 40 years since that machine originally launched. I'll talk about this correction. I put the National Video Game Museum in Sheffield because the English National Video Game Museum is in Sheffield and it's part of the scene here. And Trap was originally going to be an alligator game. I made an assumption, my mistake, was not aware of the National Video Game Museum in the States. So we'll move on from that. Bill Hurd's Masterpiece. Quick in memoriam for Stephen Carl Schindler. pixelated sexiness. The early strip poker game. And some other adult games. Soldering On. Tindy Marketplace. Hydron in development for the Amiga. Double Baboon Ninja. This is a great looking game for the Amiga, coming soon. Ghosts and Goblins port by JOTD. Joan of Arc from Griffinsoft. Excellent C64 game. Been playing that recently. Super Storm Buster. Ormanauta, which has moved from Amiga to Neo Geo now. Lost and Found. So this is talking about Penguin Tower, a game I got personally involved in. So it was originally being developed. It disappeared. The original programmer completed it, but there was a second version that was supposed to be in development when the first one failed. And also then there is a different PC version. My review of Yeti Mountain from Pro Division on cartridge there. You can see my boxed edition there. Look back at Zool, the Commodore Corner, the Geos column. Geo-Backgammon is good fun. Dialed back, the regular column on BBS systems. Content Corner, podcast, Insight Atari, FujiNet report, our regular Mega 65 column, Tandyland, and then the listings. So once again, oh, and these are cool, these are good fun, micro missions, so challenges to code in BASIC. So here, create a split screen monitoring system using both Commodore 128 outputs, create a sprite design, an animation system using BASIC 7. So that catches us up to date with February, March, April and May 2026 Computers Gazette, and then my Computers Gazette t-shirt. So, hope you enjoyed this retro shelf video. Stay tuned to the channel for more unboxing, gameplay, merch stand and retro shelf videos.